Hey, you guys. All right, so God willing, if all has gone normally and no insane shenanigans have happened in the past 2 days, this is going to be coming out on, well, Black Friday, but the day after Thanksgiving. Hi, editor me, jumping in to say that filming me did not take a second to consider that she would be in a food coma all of Black Friday and would have no time on the actual Thanksgiving day. So, yeah, this video is coming out after Black Friday, but we're just going to say that this is perennial advice and recommendations that are available all the way through Thanksgiving weekend up through Cyber Monday, which the sale that I either am about to announce or have just announced, depending on where I splice this in, it's still going up through Cyber Monday. Okay, thank you guys. And if you are like me and you do not enjoy crowds and the sheer madness of going out and shopping, if you do love that, that's awesome. I don't have that kind of temperament. I don't have what it takes, okay? I have what it takes to sit in bed curled up at home digesting from the day before. So, I wanted to give you some book recommendations for the day after Thanksgiving where you can just get a cup of tea or hot chocolate or whatever, curl up on the couch. If you're like me, you're hoping it's snowing where you are, and you can just enjoy the day. Quick intro of myself. I am Gabriella Batel, prize-winning author of the YA thriller duology The Don't series, the first of which follows a young woman with near-terminal chronic illness who becomes the only witness to a crime way too close to home, and a crime that is involving her family way too much. So now she has to protect her family. She's not going to let anything happen to them as long as she is still breathing. And you guys, I am the author of the upcoming epic fantasy thriller ending. This follows Death himself, yes, but the world is so young that he's only a teenager. His name is Priam, and he loves his younger sister Indani, who is life herself, who is poisoned. And when she's poisoned, you don't mess with Death's little sister. He's going to come after you. So that is the story from there. I actually have it on pre-order right now because I am trying to hit the USA Today bestseller list next year. So if you like it at Amazon, there's a link below for that. If you like it at any of your other booksellers, there's another link below for that. It's like a universal book link, so it'll take you to wherever you want to go. And you guys, guess what? So, because it is Black Friday, I don't like crowds, but I do like shopping and I do like sales. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do something special for my people here on YouTube. And that is, I got a sale going for you guys. My books are on the lowest prices that Amazon will let me do. Merry upcoming Christmas, happy Black Friday, whatever the thing is. I hope you enjoy. All right, let's get started. I have divided these books in two categories because sometimes you're feeling different things after the holidays. The first one is that you just want to relax. You don't want to spend brain effort on anything, much less reading. And so I have some recs for you. The first is the Emily Wilde series by Heather Fawcett. This follows Emily Wilde, who is a dryadologist or a fairy scientist, and she's kind of curmudgeonly. She kind of likes to keep to her own in her studies, but she's got a colleague. I don't think they share the same office, but they're very close to each other. And he is Wendell Bamblebee, and he is a golden retriever if you ever saw one. And he might be connected to the fairy world inextricably. I'm just saying. And so one day when Emily goes to Scandinavia to go investigate the fairies there, Wendell Bamblebee comes along, and it is a lovely, cozy tale from there, interacting with the townsfolk, learning more about fairies, and learning more about each other. This one and the sequel, Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands, are some of my favorite books of all time, and I think that they are perfect when you need a relaxing read. Next up, we have The Foxwife by Yangzi Chu. This follows Snow, who is a nine-tailed fox living in Manchuria in the 1900s. And believe it or not, she is on a revenge quest. Her daughter was killed by a mysterious photographer, and now she is going to go find this man and deliver justice herself, all the while navigating a world that is terribly dangerous for women and for foxes. Now, I know it's a revenge story, but it's not really a revenge story. It is a slow burn mystery with lots of food, lots of family development, lots of found family, and of course there's some strife going on in there. I'm just saying, but it is a journey of healing. It is, again, slow burn. It is beautifully written and very atmospheric. And it just keeps you asking a lot of gentle questions. And there's a man in here who is perfect for any relaxing day. I'm gonna leave it at that. Next up, we have The Other Valley by Scott Alexander Howard. This follows Odile, who lives in a world where she lives in a valley. And across the mountain, there's another valley that's identical to hers, except it's 20 years in the past. And on the other side, same thing, but it's 20 years in the future. And this follows Odile as she is growing up and growing into adulthood in this world where she's going to find her place in her society, specifically in the government, that very much has to regulate travel between these two valleys. This is so atmospheric. It also is so slow burn. But what I love most about this book is that it always keeps you guessing. So you're learning new things. You're curious as to what happens next. And when you get to that next thing, it's not at all what you have expected. And so from there, you're just like, oh, well, what could possibly happen now? And it's a journey of growth, and it's a journey of love, and it's a journey of a beautiful new world. And yes, read this. Next up, I'll recommend The Crown's Game by Evelyn Skye. I do remember what this is about, but vaguely. So, what it's about is it's set in Russia. I don't know if it's around the time of Anastasia, but long story short, the king needs a champion or a single magician, and yet two are given the gift, not the king, the czar, the emperor of Russia. And only one is allowed to have the gift, but there are two with the gift, young man and a young woman, can't remember their names. And so they have to go through this magical competition, each trying to outshine the other with their magical abilities. And it really feels like the night circus. There is a little bit of a plot because you see the progression of, the czar needs this person to protect the kingdom, and there can only be one, there can't be two. And so there's the challenge, and one challenge leads to a counter challenge. And so I won't say it's completely plotless, but it's very slow moving, very gentle, very much relishing each moment, kind of like a Ghibli movie or like the Night Circus. Real quick, as always, you'll see a little chili pepper rating under here, or maybe it's under here. I don't know which way the camera is flipped. But as I always say, I never actually read spice scenes, so they're never actually indicative of how spicy a moment is or of how spicy the book is or anything at all. I am not a good gauge for that. In fact, some of the ones I might put 3 chili peppers and it might have been relatively like tame. I don't know. All I'm saying is that when I skipped something, that is when I added chili pepper. So 1 scene, 1 chili pepper, 2 or 3 scenes, 2 chili, that kind of a thing. Okay. Now I'm going to go to our second and last category, which is short books, because it can be intimidating when you're already tired mentally. You're like, oh, now I got to pick up this brick of a book and I just don't have the mental wherewithal to do it. Well, here are some stories that are short. You can read them in a day, or you can at least take a chunk out of them in a day. A lot of them are still going to be very relaxing, but some of them are not. So I'll just let you know about that. But here we go. The first is Calvin by Martine Levitt. This follows a boy who is diagnosed with schizophrenia, and he finds some very poignant comparisons with himself and the Calvin and Hobbes comic books. And so when he gets this diagnosis and he's been seeing this tiger, he thinks to himself, I must be kind of infected in a way by the Calvin and Hobbes comics. And so he decides to trek on foot to meet the author, the illustrator of these Calvin and Hobbes comics, to ask him to make a final comic where Calvin is no longer seeing this imaginary tiger. He thinks that will cure him. He goes on this trip with his best friend Susie. It is short, it is romantic, it is unique, it is well written and distinct, and it is lovely. Next up, I am going to say Inside the Wolf by Gabriella Batel. It is a novelette that I wrote, which, by the way, so me as an author, because I have been in the trenches of writing and publishing, I also know a lot about editing, and that is why I am the founder and head editor at Bonepiercer Media, where I am more than excited to be able to help you with your story. If you have a single chapter that you would like to look at, if you have a short story, if you like to have an entire novel looked at, if it is gritty, no spice speculative fiction, that's my specialty. Speculative fiction being anything that doesn't exist right now. So it could be dystopian, fantasy, sci-fi, anything like that. Come on over here. I have a link below. I would love to work with you on getting the bones of your story right, the words of your story right, proofreading all the errors out of it. And like it says, I do media. So I do audiobook narration. I format the interior. If you have any needs like that, come on over to my website. I would love to work with you. Back to the stories. So, inside the wolf follows Garnet, who is a shapeshifter in Scaddis Lake Fair. Now, Scaddis Lake Fair are the people who can turn into animals, which shares a border with the animals who can turn into people, Scaddis Lake Forest. And she and her best friend, Ryder, are peace offerings between the two nations, meaning that one has to live inside the other's heart at all times. But they're having a hard time because they're having a very, very severe drought. And the rains only come by the command of the half witch named Grandmother. And she's not doing anything until one day she gives a call for help, and Garnet and Ryder have to go take care of business. It is a horror retelling of Red Riding Hood. I had such a fun time writing it. And if you're looking for something very short, it's a novelette. I think you will love it. I'm actually going to put a link right down below where you can click on it right now and read it. Next up, we have another horror, which is Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. This follows the biologist, who is never given a name, and she and a crew of either 3 other women or 4 other women are sent into Area X, which is just this creepy, unexplorable area of the world in the future where nobody really comes back from these missions doing well. But they're going to try again. They're going to try and understand. So they go in, and the biologist finds this tunnel into the ground that has fungus making words on the insides, and she's going to discover a whole lot of more creepy things going on in this world. It is very atmospheric. It is very to the point. It is a punchy, powerful plant horror, kind of almost existential horror. Like, there are things we don't know about and we have no control over, and it is a wonderful time. Okay, now we'll talk about Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. This follows different characters inside of a coffee shop, and this coffee shop is magical because for 1 cup of coffee's worth one time in your lifetime, you can sit at a certain table, order a special cup of coffee, and while that coffee is still warm, you could go back to a certain amount of time and you could talk to a loved one again. You could say the things you never got to say or apologize for something you regret. You can't change the past, but you can go back and finish up whatever you didn't finish. And it's a really heartwarming story. It's very emotionally impactful in these little tiny vignettes. I mean, this author does not cut corners. It is a stab straight to the heart, but it's beautiful. It involves a lot of healing. It involves a lot of growth. It involves a lot of just broken people and beautiful people and broken beautiful people and beautiful broken people. All right, I got 2 more for you guys. We have next The Life and Crimes of Hoodie Rosen by Isaac Bloom. This follows Hoodie Rosen, who is an Orthodox Jewish young man living in, I believe it's a new community, like they move into a place where people are despicably anti-Semitic. And it really just follows Hoodie as he's exploring his own understanding of his own faith, his own understanding of this crush he has on this girl that he meets and finds a deep attraction to, which then conflicts with his community and the rules of his faith that they have taught him. And it is heartfelt, it's poignant, it feels very real, like not just someone talking about a topic, but someone reliving a topic or experiencing a topic or exploring a topic. And it is so laugh out loud funny a lot of the times. I mean, it goes dark in some places, but the exploration of this young man and his new ideas and his new feelings and his sense of humor, it's really great. It's really immersive. And all I can remember from it are the British starbursts. That is stuck in my head. And finally, the last book I am going to recommend to you is The Hounding by Zenobe Purvis. This follows, actually it doesn't follow a group of 4 sisters, but it's about 4 sisters in England who, they're not a menace to society. They're not criminals or rebels or anything like that, but they aren't quiet. They're their own people with their own desires, with their own emotions, with their own passions. And the people in the village don't really love that. And so one by one, discomfort turns to dislike, turns to gossip. And all of a sudden, there's a question as to whether these girls are turning into dogs, whether witchcraft might be involved. And as for me as the reader, I'm wondering myself, how much is a little bit of magical realism? how much is just historical gossip. And it is a thrilling, well written read, a little bit of a psychological thriller, like I said, but with some really great characters who you just wanted to follow and see what was happening next. It was absolutely unputdownable. Okay, that's all for me today. I hope you have found a recommendation today. Go ahead and drop in the comments. Which one of these do you think you're going to pick up if you choose to pick up any of these for your Black Friday through Cyber Monday? Because let's be honest, I'm not leaving my house, and a book is not leaving my hand until I have to, which is, God willing, past Cyber Monday. So thank you guys so much for being here today. You have a great day and God bless. Bye bye.